Hi everyone, the 4th of July is nearly upon us, and we have a picture-perfect 4th of July holiday headed for us weather-wise. It is going to be ideal. But a lot of eyes are on the East Coast as we have our first named tropical system in the Atlantic. Arthur, at the time of this recording, was a tropical storm, very likely going to become a hurricane very soon. I'll tell you how I think it impacts the East Coast as I take you through this webcast extra. First of all, our weather around northwest Arkansas and the River Valley is going to be awesome. Temperatures in the upper 70s to lower 80s, light winds, low humidity, lots of sunshine. You really couldn't ask for better weather for your Independence Day festivities. As you'll see, the cold front moves south of the area. That happened on Tuesday, and now we've got high pressure to our northwest. But this front is going to be very interesting in determining how far westward Arthur will make it towards the East Coast. Let me explain here. First of all, on our satellite and radar, Arthur was becoming organized. Conditions are very favorable for this to strengthen into a Category 1, maybe possibly even a low-end Category 2 hurricane, but at the moment it is a tropical storm. You can see an eye beginning to form as well throughout the day. There is the location of Arthur as it drifts to the northwest. It is going to increase in forward speed, and as that front moves in, it'll start to kick it off to the northeast. So as far as your tropical update, this is the latest update from the Hurricane Center at the time of this recording. 8 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. It's an intermediate update with 7 o'clock Central Daylight Time. Pressure dropped down a little bit to 990 millibars. The winds now are sustained at 70 miles an hour, and it is moving to the north at about 8 miles an hour. So just a little bit of a crawl. Notice the historical track. Those are those dots. It started off in South Carolina, drifted to the southeast, then went back to the southwest, then hovered just east of Florida for a while until it's going to get picked up by this trough of low pressure moving onto the East Coast. Now it's drifting northward, and it looks to make a landfall, or very close to it, in the Cape Hatteras and the Outer Banks of North Carolina. So here's your forecast track. This is according to the Hurricane Center. As we check it out here, you will notice that it becomes a hurricane very soon, within a couple hours, according to the National Hurricane Center. Notice the forward speed moving quicker northeast at 16 miles an hour by tomorrow afternoon, about 1 o'clock Central Daylight Time, 2 o'clock Eastern Time. Then it starts to curve to the northeast. Just how much it curves to the northeast remains a mystery, but it looks like it's going to be skirting very close to the Outer Banks of Cape Hatteras, North Carolina. In fact, hurricane warnings are in effect. Then it races on off to sea. Now, if you're going to Washington, D.C. or planning to head to New York this weekend for the 4th of July, there'll be a little bit of rain on the afternoon of the 4th, but for the majority of the wind will be off to the east of our area, and east of that area, especially on the East Coast, is what I meant to say. Here's your potential paths. These are the forecast tracks according to the computer models, and you will notice they're tightly clustered throughout the next 24 hours. Then they start to deviate just a little bit. And these are all individual tracks on what the computer models think might happen. You will notice that they start to get a little bit more separated, but they continue to trend just off the coast of North Carolina. Some of the computer models taking it on the coast, including the BAMs as well as the CLP5 model, but it looks like the GFDL, along with some of the European models, strengthening this rather strong, but very tightly clustered right over the Outer Banks of North Carolina. So it's going to be very close depending on how far westward it makes it, or it could remain out to sea and not even make a U.S. landfall. And then you can see as time goes on, these hurricane models called a spaghetti plot just goes all over the place, and that's literally why they're called spaghetti plots, because the models start to deviate the farther you get out in time, which means the greater margin of error. Now, Tropical Storm Arthur, the wind impact will affect the Carolinas, possibly even extreme eastern South Carolina. What you're looking at here is the wind radii, essentially, for tropical storm force. That's in the yellow shaded area. A strong tropical storm is the orange shaded area, and hurricane force winds 74 miles an hour or greater is in the red shaded area. And you'll notice the majority of these hurricane force winds remain just barely off the coast of North Carolina. So it's going to be either a near miss or a glancing blow, but it definitely will impact the eastern sections of North Carolina. But as far as when it moves northeast towards Washington, D.C. and New York, it's not going to be a big issue. They're not going to cancel any 4th of July festivities. There could be a little bit of rain, but it looks like the majority of the activity, especially on the western side of that low, will be moving on out to sea and moving away from the United States by Saturday afternoon. It does pick up forward speed. So that's the latest on Arthur. I'm thinking that he will become a hurricane overnight tonight and possibly even become a low-end Category 2. But around northwest Arkansas, soak up the sunshine and the beautiful weather. Have a great and safe 4th of July holiday. And keep it here for the latest with your Northwest Arkansas Weather Authority.